This is Beach Talk Radio.
Good morning, Mr. and Mrs. America, and all ships at sea. This is your captain speaking, Mean Gene. Mean Gene. The following will be a test of the ship's whistle, the sonar alarm, the cable alarm, and the atomic attack alarm.
Oh, isn't that hair fabulous? Broadcasting live from the new hotspot on Fort Myers Beach. Wahoo! Willies! It's time for another exciting, award-winning episode of Beach Talk Radio. Here are your humble hosts, Kim and Ed Ryan.
I didn't have to do anything. They're just such big fans of yours, dear.
You're silly. They're silly.
Thank you all for coming to Wahoo Willies, and thank you all for tuning in to our Saturday morning brunch show at Wahoo Willies. Thank you all for watching the walk around this morning, which was at Laguna Shores, and thanks to Ed and Janelle Schoonover. Ed is here for giving us the tour last night. And we want to also thank everybody for signing up for our 5K to benefit FMB Strong. We have almost 200 registrations right now. And the race is May the 13th, the day before Mother's Day. I wanted to have it on Mother's Day, on Sunday on Mother's Day, because I thought that would be a good idea to have a Mother's Day race. But guess who put the kibosh on that? People want to spend time with their mothers. They don't want to be running a race.
You know what? Mothers run races every day of the year. The last thing they want to do is get up and run a race at dark 30 on the one day people are supposed to leave them alone.
No, I thought that they could run the race and then they could go to like Wahoo Willies or Snug Harbor and get a little special treatment.
What we should all do is go down to the Hyatt,
Coconut Point
Point Hyatt, nice place, and just
sit at the lazy river. Yeah. All right, so we have a very special show today, everybody. It's special and sad at the same time. And we're going to introduce our guest, and we have a long list of questions for him. And if you have any questions from the audience or gifts you want to give him, outgoing parting gifts, you're welcome to do that as well. Ladies and gentlemen, the interim town manager of Fort Myers Beach, Keith Wilkins.
Wow, look at you.
Oh.
Tough crowd.
Thank you so much, Keith, for coming on, and thank you for being so cooperative with the show. I have to admit that I was taken a little bit aback and it was off guard a little bit when you were so communicative. You were communicating with us. We weren't used to. Yeah, we weren't so used to all that communication coming out of town hall. So thank you for that.
Oh, well, I was gonna say it's like being with Regis and Kathy Lee, you know.
Wait, isn't he 90 now? No, and so the first question I wanted to ask you was like we saw you.
At least you didn't say Tweedledee and Tweedledum, so we're good with that.
Yeah, repeat and repeat, right?
Who? Wait, what?
Repeat.
The last time I saw you was last night.
Yeah.
In all the years that you've been a town manager in the jobs that you've done, did you ever think that you would be at an HOA meeting in somebody's garage on a panel on a picnic table? Has that ever happened before?
Yes.
Oh, it has.
It has,
I was shocked.
Yes.
I'm shocked by that.
Except probably with a little bit more alcohol than things.
Well, there was a lot of alcohol flowing last night.
There was.
So,
what were you guys doing last night? What happened?
Very similar situation in Perdido Key, Florida, another barrier island.
Okay.
You know, and underneath the house because they're all up. So yeah, I've been there before.
So what was your, like, as you're looking at what's going on at an HOA meeting like that, 100 people in somebody's garage, what's going through your mind as the town manager of a 7-mile island trying to recover from a major storm?
Those are all very typical issues that neighborhoods have.
Okay.
The right of way and where they have medians and they have, lands that is it the city's, is it theirs? You know, what do you do with it? How do you fund the maintenance on it and how frequent? All pretty typical situations aside from the hurricane recovery.
6 months has gone by already since you first, almost 6 months, I guess, since you first came down here. And when you first came down here, what did you think? Like when you saw the destruction at the beginning and they asked you to come on, what was your...
First remind people where you came down from.
I came down from Pensacola, Florida, which is this central northern Gulf Coast, and we get a lot of hurricane activity up there. So I've seen a lot of hurricane destruction, a lot of other, disasters, but I've not seen anything like what Fort Myers Beach. As a kid, Hurricane Camille came through Biloxi, and at the time, that was the most powerful hurricane that ever hit anywhere. And I can remember the devastation. My dad was working in New Orleans, so we're driving back and forth, Pensacola to New Orleans, almost every weekend, and was very familiar with that. That was 1969. And Hurricane Betsy, 1965, I was in Mobile when it came ashore nearby. And so I've seen a lot of hurricane
You must have been 1
damage.
year old at that point.
I was negative.
So
But, it was devastating. Astounded television.
it almost, I say this a lot, it looked like a bomb dropped on Fort Myers Beach.
That's exactly.
And you could drive off the island, and I know it wasn't normal, but it was pretty normal, like 2
Well,
miles away from the bridge.
a couple more than that. But
Yeah.
I was just talking to some folks, and I said, yeah, I'm loud. That, when we first came down here right after the storm, those big, and I can't think of the name, those big Army helicopters would fly overhead. I have a video on my phone because I was like, wow, and then when we came over the bridge, they were just all over. By the end of that week, I was like, oh, look, there's another, you get used to that. And it's like, you've been dropped into this quasi war zone at some point, and it boggles the mind. It boggles the mind.
It does. It reminded me, my father was in the Army Air Corps in World War II, and he went into Germany and occupied Germany, as they came across France at D-Day and all of that. But it reminded me of the pictures I've seen of his from Germany and the bombed out towns there. It really did.
Do you think that you accomplished everything you were assigned to or wanted to, or in 6 months that you were on a 6-month contract? So it's only so much you can
goals,
do.
I think we did accomplish. We've really worked on changing the culture within the staff of town, and with great assistance from the council, because they're the lead and we follow them. But just making staff more customer friendly and friendlier to one another, more cooperative, more integrated. That was one goal, to find a town manager. That was a goal. What shouldn't have surprised me, but did, and I'm not happy yet with the progress made there, is with permitting. The permitting, we've improved it a lot, but I was surprised at the level of difficulty we had there, and that I wasn't able to get completely through with that in 6 months.
What do you attribute the level of difficulty to?
The level of destruction.
Okay.
I mean, we're still running 10 times the normal activity there. And now, March 28th, the 19 assistant folks we had from the state are gone. Some of those are enforcement, some of them were permitting processes, and they're gone. So we're down 19 people, and we're still handling 10 times the workload. We are working on building that back, but I think that's a lot of it, and somewhat culture, but also just.
What do you mean by that?
By culture?
Yeah.
Again, not to slide anything prior to when I was here, but just be more customer friendly, more open, more communicative, like you were talking about with folks, more one-on-one and hand-holding to get through our permitting processes, and just receptive. But we all went through it, or all of y'all went through it, including our employees, and their houses were destroyed also. Their houses were flooded, and they understand what the citizens are going through, and there's a high level of anxiety and frustration there with the citizens and with our staff, and just to have some time pass to get through that, I think that's really helped.
The number one thing that you hear from people is about the permitting. I mean, what needs to improve to the point where you think it's going to be perfect?
Is it just a staff issue? Is it just getting more people, or are there other issues?
No, there's a host of issues. Part of it is that we're appropriately staffed, and that's difficult when you're a small town, and we would run 1,600 permits a year through, and now we're running 20,000 permits a year through. So to ramp up to that level, and we talked about this, I think, our first time, to ramp up to that level, and how do you get those resources to pay for that? And then also, you're making commitment when you're hiring people, you're making commitments to them, and you have to understand that in 4 or 5 years, we're going to be ramping back down again, that level of activity as we get built back out again and repairs are done. So I forgot the rest of the question.
Well, you know what I picked up on when you were answering that, you keep saying we, like you're part of you are now, but in a month you might not be. Did you struggle at all with wanting to stay on as the town manager?
Oh, look at the sly look he's giving you,
That's a loaded
too.
question.
No kidding.
No, I mean, it was clear,
Absolutely.
nothing against Andy, because
Throw
it
it
seems
up.
like he was the best choice from the batch. I mean, that's just my opinion from interviewing him, that he dealt with a building collapse. I mean, that's a major catastrophe. But I also got the sense that this council would have also liked to consider you for the town manager job, because, you know, the community loves you.
I'm truly humbled by that. I really am. Council's been wonderful. The town has been incredible, welcoming, inclusive. You know, I've made friends here that I'll have for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And it's hard to walk away. It really is. And I might get emotional, but it's hard to walk away from that. And I feel like, well, one, I'm leaving when the fun's about to start. You know,
True.
all the new building and the new town, the fun's about to start, but also the job's half done. I don't like leaving, or it's not even half done, but the job's not done. And it's hard to leave when you've set up the starting blocks and you've hit the first 100 yards.
Yeah.
And now you hand off the baton, and it's really difficult to watch the rest of the race.
Is this something, though, historically that you do, though? You go in and get the ball rolling? Or is this is this new in a different way? Is this new?
This is new and different, because it was so short term. I typically do like to, if I leave a job, I like to make sure it's at a clean point, and where I've accomplished what I wanted to get accomplished, you know, and set the stage. And so I have to look at it that way, that we've set the stage, although there's still so much to do.
Was it more of your wife wanting to make sure you retired?
Oh my God.
Yeah. Hey, listen, he doesn't have to answer any questions, but we
First-
want to know the answer. We want to know the answer
First
to this
a run
question.
on Mother's
Listen.
Day, and now, wow.
Listen.
You do
I know
not
how to
have to.
ask
Where's
the
your
right
wife? Because
questions. She's on her way. She can't hear any of it right now.
she
So
is
I
more
want to make
than
sure
willing and able
No,
to take
no.
you out.
Listen, I want to know, and you don't have to answer, Keith. Was it your wife that really wants to retire and enjoy life, or did Chris say to you, "Listen, we had a 6-month contract. They need to have a town manager that's going to be there for a long time"? Or, I mean, you don't. Of course,
Or
you can tell
you
me to
made your
flip
own
off.
decision.
Yeah.
How about that option?
I
Option
know.
C.
I know what his decision was going to be if he was on his own. Well, I don't know that. I'm just guessing, but
You're going to find yourself on your own if you keep this up.
she's threatened me that way for 27 years.
My wife
28.
lived in the same house in Charleston, West Virginia, until she moved away to college. She does not change very easily. I was astounded at how much consideration she gave to moving here. First time I've ever seen that in our 32 years of marriage.
Moving here to the beach.
Moving here, yes. And just this morning before I came down, I had the talk. I said, okay, if they ask what we're doing, you know, we are looking at property here to spend more time here.
Wow. Now, wait a second.
As a retirement
I know. What would you do?
Or
What would you do?
Hopefully the fish here are not as smart as the fich up north, and I'll be able to catch a
Well,
few.
how cool would that be? Wow. That's
well, his next
breaking news
question
right
is
there.
going to be, do you use a bobber?
No, I would not. He's a professional
I do not use a
fisherman.
bobber.
Thank you.
I'll leave that story for another day. But okay, so we got Andy that I think the council will approve on Monday for the job. Is it a 1-year contract?
The contract that was drafted, that Andy reviewed, that I reviewed, and that our lawyer reviewed and prepared, yes, it's set, 1 year with extensions beyond that. But it's mentioned to me that, gee, we really need to show a little bit more longevity there. I talked to Andy about that, and Andy said yes. So we'll probably have some changes presented from the floor at the meeting tomorrow morning.
Okay, I mean, because my first thought was,
I
well,
know, a year. I mean,
That's not really showing a lot of confidence
Yeah. And I mean, you're
Andy did
moving
not
here to
hesitate.
do
When I pitched it to him, he did not hesitate. He said yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Yeah.
at more than a year or at the year.
2 years with extensions
Yeah.
beyond.
Yeah.
So can you update us on some of the projects that are going on around town? If we can rip through them real quick. I mean, obviously the number one project to me is Bayside Park. Is there anything new going on with that?
Yeah, we're actually right now we've
Edside Park.
It's
Yeah. By the way, where's the plaque? I mean, where there used to be a plaque. You ever hear about the plaque out front there?
I've heard about the plaque.
Where is the plaque? Who's got
I've
it?
been on the show before. I've heard about the plaque.
I want to know where that plaque is because
It's
I
at the
want it.
bottom of the bay.
I want to
think,
glue it
probably.
into the back, my own backyard.
We're looking for plaques. Bayside, we've engaged a construction management firm to help us with the oversight of the construction and help us prepare the solicitation for bid there. That solicitation should go out in just a couple of weeks, and that'll be on the street for 30 days. We'll select somebody, and then they'll have 10 days to go.
When do you think it'll be open?
July, August.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Now he's going to hold you to that if you
Well,
move
he
back
won't be
down
here.
here. No, well,
He'll
if
be
he moves
out
back
fishing.
down,
He'll be out
if he moves
fishing.
back down here, he'll be here.
Right.
Well, sticking with the beat, are you done with Bayside?
Yeah.
All right. What about Bay Oaks?
Bay Oaks.
Mm-hmm.
Council selected a contractor for that. We have the same oversight management engineering firm coming in to do the oversight. They're
And
already
who's that?
on DRMP.
Okay. I
And
think
then
they've done stuff down
they
here.
did the
but yeah,
original
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Bayside plans, and I think Times Square and Bay Oaks too. Council selected the low bid there, and we are currently negotiating that contract with them. We've got one more issue that we hopefully resolve in the next couple of days, and then they'll have 10 days to start working.
What's the issue?
Liquidated damages.
Okay. I don't know
Which
what
are-
Whatever
that means.
that means.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know what that means. So are they going to be done with Bay Oaks in time for whatever the beach school needs?
Yeah. We should be done late July,
Okay.
and the school board or our discussions with superintendent have been, August 10th, school starts.
Mhm.
It'd be really nice to have it then. If it goes a little bit beyond that, we're okay too.
Debbie, by the way, Debbie, you ordered a tank top and I have it and I've been carrying it around with me and you haven't picked it up yet. She wants to know if
He's been trying to wear it.
she wants to know if
Yeah.
there's going to be electric at the stage at Bayside Park. There was a big to do about is there electric in that stage or not? There's no electric. Are they going to put electric in
We
the
are,
stage?
yes, we
Is
are
it
going
true
to.
there was not electric?
I don't know if there wasn't any, but it appeared there wasn't adequate. So
Okay.
yes, we are adding.
There you go, Debbie.
Adding
There's
electric
your
there. Yep.
yeah, because you really can't have a concert on a stage without electric.
Well,
They got to
acoustic.
plug in.
You
the
know
stuff.
about
Well, I
that,
guess
don't
you
you?
could. Yes. Yeah, that was a bizarre. Are you going to run on the 5K, by the way?
I used to run a lot. As a matter of fact, I've
Wait, I used to own a gym, and you know what the number one thing people used to say is,
Oh, yeah.
I used to be in shape.
Yep.
I used to run a lot. I used to lift weights, and now, so you're not running anymore. I know you bike a lot.
I may
know you
walk
bike
in
a
it.
lot.
I may walk in it. I can't run anymore. I've ran my hips to death. I've
I
got
see.
2 artificial hips. Actually, I won Masters when I was 51 years old. I
Nice.
guess division under 5K. But
51 years old is not really a Masters.
No,
so
it is. That's
Yeah.
how they do it.
50.
Yes,
Yeah,
dear.
yeah.
It's disturbing.
50 is a Masters now.
Derby.
Yes,
Holy
it's disturbing.
Christmas.
And then you get a little older and they call you the Grandmaster.
Grandmaster.
And
Okay,
you're
what
like,
age
I
is
don't even want to
Grandmaster?
win now.
Dave, what
I
is your
don't
time
wanna
going to be in the
win.
5K? 10 years. What do you think if you were to run, how old are you, by the way, Keith?
I'm 66.
If you were to run a 5K now, what do you think? Could you finish it in under 30?
I doubt it.
Yeah.
Oh
I
my
doubt it.
God.
My-
I don't think you could finish it under 30
My
Are you
hip-
right
hips
kidding
now.
is-
me? How
I'm
dare
not.
you say
I
that
know you
about me?
can't.
That's
I know you can't.
ridiculous.
My PR is a 20 flat.
20.
Wow.
What age were you?
That's
I was
fast.
probably close to 50.
Yeah, that's when most people
Wow.
start to run. Like they get into that 40 to 60
Did you ever
age.
do it under 20? Maybe once.
No, I did. I've run 19 something back in the day.
I started running at 14 and ran through high school and college.
You know, you
and
start
all
going
that
through these memories in your mind of how good it used to be when you were young, and yeah. Now I'm saying what the people at the gym used to say. I used to run a 19. Now I'm walking like an old fart. Sorry.
That's why
didn't mean
I think you would be over 30.
No,
minutes.
I would make sure that I was running it just to show you that I could do it. So you've been biking though, right?
Yeah, I bike a lot.
Yeah.
Yes, I sure do.
On Fort Myers Beach, you've been biking a
I've
lot.
ridden on the sand and down the road. Yeah.
Nice. Every time I go, like I was running today from Santini Plaza to the end of the bridge there.
How many
You've-
miles was that?
I don't know. What is it from Santini to the end? 2? Less than 2? It's not 4 miles.
Yeah.
It's not 4 miles. It's
Round
Look
trip.
at
Round
one
trip.
mile. No, it's more than 1
Dave's
mile.
trying
Holy
to give
Christmas.
you help there.
It's not 1 mile. It better not be 1 mile.
It might
I
be
got to
4
go
round
back
trips.
after the
Took him
show.
22 minutes.
Yeah. So, but you start to see once you think that old debris is gone, there now these giant pieces of concrete come from. You don't even know where they're coming from because there's still so many buildings and houses that need to be knocked down.
Right.
All over the island.
There are. It's amazing, and it's. I think it's getting a little worse now, and the debris is a major issue because if you're not in iandebris.com now, you don't have the state's assistance. They'll continue to pick up those that are in that program through the end of May, but otherwise, if you're demolishing something right now, your contractor is responsible, and you are responsible to get rid of it.
And that's not cheap.
It's not cheap, no.
Yeah.
And how does that get handled if people just don't or can't afford to do that?
We'll have to ask the mayor.
but how do you know? Like,
Okay.
Well, enforcement is going to be part of it. Education that, okay, this, because people will legitimately think that's the way you do it, innocently.
Well, they're going to think somebody
And-
else should. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so education is number one, and then there will be enforcement after that.
But right now they're out. Like if you're not in, you're out.
Correct. It closed.
Okay.
Actually, the site closed down. Well, they quit taking March 28th input into it, but they actually shut the site down supposedly yesterday.
Jacob says back in high school, his fastest mile was 7 minutes and 34 seconds.
5:02.
You ran a 5-minute
5:02,
mile.
Yeah. Sorry, Jacob.
Wow. That's like world record pace.
No,
What is the world record for a
no,
mile?
it's
Like,
3-something.
wow. Can you imagine running a 3-something mile?
I'm not sure I could bike a 3-something mile.
Wow. What were we talking about? Oh, so how do you tell the difference between debris that, like, there's debris everywhere? Not everywhere like it was, but there's still debris everywhere. How do you
tell
know
the difference between what
debris is part of Ian debris cleanup and what debris was knocked down after? How do you know the difference?
I asked Department of Emergency Management that yesterday because we found out about this probably Wednesday, but Thursday. Asked them yesterday, how are we going to know if enforcement's on us? How do we know which pile is in a program, which is not? There's a phone number to call in Tallahassee and ask them. They won't give us a spreadsheet, but we can call each and every pile and ask this person, and she'll
Do they
say,
have pictures of the piles? Because I could see people going like, hey, I'm taking my crap over there and putting it in their pile.
right.
I mean, he's dumped our garbage when we've missed the garbage truck comes through. Then
the
we run it
neighbors?
across the street to the neighbors.
That's way different.
Oh, I know it's different,
That's
but I'm
Ed
just
doing
saying that,
I'm not taking like a whole house.
I'm
and
taking
moving
a
it.
whole house and
I mean,
moving
so
it
what
over
you're
there.
really, Keith, what you're telling people is if they missed the deadline, take your shit and move it to the neighbors.
No,
if you
no,
think
no,
the
that's
neighbor
not what
made
he
the
said.
deadline.
I didn't say that.
I mean,
No, I didn't say that
what's the
either. I'm
downside
just
to that,
saying
though?
that. How do you know that people?
How do you know? How do they know?
It's not a good system, and I imagine.
Call
that
Do they
Change.
have video down? Like, what is
I guess by address, you say, okay, this is at,
I see. So somebody that called before the deadline, they know the house. So that's the house that they were going to come and pick up, and the other ones they're not.
and our 2.5 code enforcement officers are going to have to keep up with that.
How do you have a
Wow.
half a
Or not.
person?
Yeah.
Part-time.
Okay.
I see. What was your biggest challenge?
Here,
Yeah. No.
No, over your whole life.
No, running a 5K. What was your biggest challenge?
riding in the sand was tough. I'll tell you that. But,
Especially with all those dead fish.
yeah, I was going to pop my tire.
$90,000 came back. Well, that was nice that the town got reimbursed for that, for all that cleanup they had to do.
Yeah, and we figured we would, but had to do it right there. I mean, it was nasty.
Oh yeah, I can't imagine being the person that has to pick up all those fish.
We bought those guys. I coined them fish boys, and our public works guys that did that.
Yeah.
And we bought them pizza and
Cologne. And
I hope you didn't have. Did you have did you have anchovies on the pizza?
Oh. My God.
Come on, you guys. That was pretty funny. No, wasn't funny. Sorry.
I'll
Leaves
say my
it funny
biggest
to
challenge
me.
is the one I didn't finish, which is permitting. Mhm.
Yeah.
Sure is.
So biggest success.
I don't know. You know, people say, "Oh, we're so glad you're here. So much has been done," and I just don't really know how much I've done. I don't know. I feel like culture has changed a lot, and and staff is more communicative and more transparent now, and
Right.
they're less afraid to say I screwed up, or how about this idea? I think the weight has been taken off of staff, and they're more productive because of that. So I'll say that.
Okay.
What about,
Go ahead.
you want to continue on that, or?
Yeah, well, I did want to ask, do you really feel like the staff needed to turn over because of the previous regime, which was, in my opinion, like totally closed, like you couldn't get any information out of them? And were they part of that regime, like that
Culture? Can you just use
closed
culture?
down? No, it was definitely a regime. My word, Keith doesn't need to say it, and you changed it. You not, but my point is now you have a new manager coming in, and obviously he wants to feel comfortable with the employees too. So,
Yep.
You think there's going to be more turnover, or you feel like that they should be okay?
I've thought about that because we have lost a few people, and we've hired in some new people, and we've hired them in. We've made sure that they are communicative, they're open, they're not afraid of failure, and that they are oriented towards success. We want to create I guess the coined term is an organization of excellence here. And I want to put people in place that will continue that and provide that continuity for council too. And council's been great and super supportive with it. I think there was a learned culture that we had to unlearn. And actually one of my kids taught me this. You have to, you learn, and then you have to unlearn, and you have to relearn when you're changing. And that's what we had to go through. We had to, some of our folks had to unlearn. Some of them didn't make it. And Chris Hawley said that when we first came on, some people will be on the bus and some people will be off the bus. And,
did.
And that's what happened. Yep.
What was the total change? Is it 80%, you think, of the staff?
No. The highest number I think we got to is about 24%
okay.
turnover.
Not too bad.
What'd you get 80?
I don't know. Well, you hear about the big names. You hear about the bigger names.
Right,
and,
right.
Yeah, which.
And that's the leadership. We did lose a couple code enforcement officers. We lost some of our base guys, the beach, guys at that level, hired them back. So those numbers were greater, but the leadership was critical also.
What do you think? How do you think the town is going to rebuild? Do you think that it's all going to be higher? It's all going to be, everybody says they're going to miss the cottage feel of Fort Myers Beach, which they are. You can't rebuild a cottage that was on the ground, that was totally
you can't
destroyed.
You can't rebuild it on the ground. You're going to have to rebuild
If
it up.
you were the town manager or still here, and what's your vision of how you see this 5 to 10 year rebuild going?
That's a tough question because that has not been answered yet in terms of what's the vision. And I think that visioning process is what's just now starting and kicking off. May 4th, that evening, there's a county resiliency committee meeting up at Diamond Head, and there's going to be a lot more of those type of community stakeholder meetings and visioning meetings, and trying to get that kicked off also before I leave. But if you want it to stay boutique-y, cottagey, you have to go up still, but that doesn't mean you couldn't have those architectural standards. But if you're enacting architectural standards, and you've got an architectural review board, you've got another layer of government, and that's an issue. So do you just depend on the eclectic nature of people to come in and build? And so I don't have the answer.
Well, I think that, I think some of the concern that's been expressed as we've been out talking to people is that the folks that are coming in and buying stuff now may not be the same folks that are selling, and might not have the same desire to do that and be a part of the culture and be a part of the community. So the responsibility to maintain the town culture falls under that, architectural review board to put those things in place, so that as people come in, if they're going to buy it and use it as a, not their home, but as a rental property or whatever, that they have to abide by that sort of look and feel.
And that's one way to do it. And you don't have to do it town wide. You don't want the whole town to have the same look, perhaps. Old San Carlos has one ambiance, and maybe, Santini Plaza's got a different, but again, that's a little heavier government, and I don't know if folks want that or not, but that's one way to accomplish it. Otherwise, you rely on meeting the code and whatever people are going to do.
The town had an awful relationship with the county before Dan and Jim and Karen and John got involved. Do you think it's improved now?
Absolutely it has. I think there's still improvements to be made, just like there are with staff. I think there's improvements to be made in a lot of our relationships, but I think it's tremendously better.
Does the
now.
county really care about Fort Myers Beach as much as it does about Sanibel and Pine Island and other parts of the county? There's no plan for the pier. You never hear any plans for Lynn Hall Park repairs. Is anybody putting pressure on them to get those projects?
Yeah, there are
fixed?
those conversations about the pier, and that came up last night too. Our pier versus somebody else's pier. I don't remember whose it was. Maybe it's Naples. But the county, I've heard them say, yes, they want to have an iconic structure there again. Now, what does that mean? The design's not done, not sure, but I do think they feel, and their heart is here also. So I think it'll be successful.
In your experience, is this moving along at the right speed or slower than you have experienced?
Or faster?
Some things are faster that we don't notice, actually. In talking with our debris hauler, he said this has been the most material moved in the shortest length of time of his experience. And he did Mexico Beach, also, Panama City.
Was he able to attribute that to anything specific, or?
I think a lot of it is the state resources, the resources we receive. The state has been tremendous. I know we've got complaints, but people complain about us too, and everybody tries. But I think the state's been tremendous with what they've done here. And I've noticed a huge difference in their approach to this storm as to what they did with Ivan or Michael or some of the other storms.
How the hell do you remember the names of these freaking hurricanes?
I don't know how you ever forget.
The 60s.
I mean, I don't know how you forget.
Surfers.
How many hurricanes have you had experience with in government?
Oh my gosh. I don't know.
If somebody,
we
at least he's adding and not you.
We actually would go over from Pensacola, Escambia County. That's the northwesternmost county in the state. We would go over and work with Louisiana. We'd work with Mississippi when those storms hit, and Alabama. So all those storms. So direct hits, probably 4 or 5. But
did you work on Katrina? Were you involved in Katrina?
Yeah, we worked on Katrina too.
So Jacob,
because that comparison gets made a lot with this.
Jacob has a question for Keith. Is
okay.
So far, what's been your favorite thing or best part of your job?
The people, both townspeople, council, staff, has been the favorite thing. I've never, and this probably sounds rote, but it's not. I have never met people like the people here, as inclusive as they've been, welcoming, supportive. I've never seen it here. And I know we have people that snipe here just like we do everywhere, but the people here have just truly been incredible. And I'm from the South, and they talk about Southern hospitality and all of that. And there is an element of that, but it's just really been different here. I've been astounded. My wife and I have had that conversation too about why don't we have this in Pensacola? I've lived there 50 years, and what's the difference? And I don't know, except the people.
Good question, Jacob. If anybody in the audience has questions, come on up and I'll give you the microphone. I mean, this is probably going to be our last interview with him in the position.
What's going on with Town Hall and the rebuild there?
Oh, yeah. Good progress, actually.
I thought you were going to say good question. That was close, but
good
yeah.
Question. I don't know. Do you know? No. Town Hall, it's cleared everything. It's cleared the insurance. It's cleared the engineers. It's cleared the public adjuster side of engineering and structural engineers. And it's on desk in FEMA. We expect it to come out of FEMA next week. The permit is already issued for the demolition there and paid for. So the state's paying us because the state's going to pay for it's in theendebris.com. And the state has said that once it comes off the desk in FEMA, that they can be here within a matter of days to a week
to knock it down.
So I would estimate 2 to 3 weeks. It should see demolition go.
And so the plan for where the government operates is what?
Right now we're in our trailers.
Right.
And there's alternatives that we're still discussing of moving over to the old town hall property in the back, to moving over to Bay Oaks, to going into the building down on Estero. A lot of things are still in, so there's not a definitive plan.
Right. Or they could continue with the trailers and rent those if you have the money.
Right. And moving to Bay Oaks, because we're on fire department or fire district property right now. We need to eventually be off of that.
Right.
So if we're off of that during our temporary period, then Bay Oaks is a good alternative.
When you sit down, let's say, I'm guessing you sat down with Andy Hyatt, who's going to be the new town manager on Monday. He'll start May 1st?
May 1st, yes.
Okay. and the two of you are sitting across the table from each other, and he says to you, "What's going to be my biggest challenge here?" What's your answer?
I've got a long list. Yeah, I worked in Miami for 3 years in the mid 90s, and my boss there said, if you want to make a difference, come to Miami. There's plenty of opportunity. And same thing here. There's just a lot of opportunity for someone to come in and have a positive impact. And I have a transition plan right now, 3-page outline laid out for him. I think again, he really needs to work on continuing to improve our permitting and that interaction with the public and that process. And then just the rebuild. We've turned that corner now to where we're starting to plan on rebuilding, and the things are going to start coming up out of the ground, both public and private. And we're excited.
How long do you think it's going to take to get a plan together for Times Square?
There you go. That was on my list.
That's on your list?
Ding, 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 ding. That just came right to me. I could see it on your faces.
Times Square is really complex because you've got the private owners, you've got county, you've got town, and the visioning with all of that.
Dan is just sitting back like, yep, hot seat for you.
That's okay. That's okay. So we've talked about, does the town come forward with a master plan for that and a vision for that, or do the private property owners around it come forward with what their vision is? We've got $1 million grant coming in July for new tiles, new pavers in there, but that really should be the last thing we do.
For sure.
And we've got utility. We have money right now for some water and stormwater improvements there that we want to do, but depending on what the private development is around it, where does that need to go?
But I was walking over there this morning, and the Dairy Queen piece of property is still sitting there. It's not even cleaned up yet. It's going on 7 months. Like, what's the process to get the property owners, whoever they are, to clean that crap up?
Well, it's going to be the whole debris issue of if they're not in debris.com, then it's going to be up to them and their contractor and our enforcement.
Right. So the town would have, now it sounds like if they're not in debriscleanup.com, the town is going to have to say, listen.
It's going to have to transition to that.
Okay.
We don't want to take a hard line yet. We want to educate first, let people know, because it's terribly confusing. I mean, we've been on the phone several times with DEM going, now, explain it to us again. And we still get surprises. That happened between Wednesday and Thursday of this week. We were surprised. So it's a lot of communication, a lot of education first, and we don't.
And some of what goes on down there is going to be dictated by FEMA rules because of where they are.
Absolutely.
So
but they're not even to the point where they have anyone planning.
But that's got to be the base jump off point, because you can't do anything less than that, correct?
Right. They can't do anything less than compliance. That's exactly right.
But people are congregating in Times Square now. Like Tom's doing the best. What's going on with his trailers, by the way? They're still not open. Is anything legal with those trailers?
Trailers?
What his Tom at La Ola?
I don't.
You got to be specific.
I'm not sure the status of that yet.
Yeah, it doesn't. Anyway, so it just seems like that the first thing is to clean it up, because people are going to the beach. They're sitting on the beach. They're walking through whatever's going on over there, and so it would seem.
The last I heard about Tom's trailers was the decking around the side. We're working with him on the decking design and safety features there, but that's not a big.
It'll be hurricane season soon.
I know.
Do you want to ask him about the zip ties on the porta potties?
Yeah, come on. What was the story with that? Did you see that?
I heard about it.
Why would they?
Are they our porta potties or the
now they're gone? Today I went over there. I said, let me go over there and see if the zip ties are on the porta potties. Like, what are they? Are there dead bodies in there or something? Or the most logical explanation I got from somebody on Facebook was that the guy that delivers them puts zip ties on them so that the shitter doors don't swing open. And so he drops them off. And he drops them off, and whoever is accepting them is supposed to snip the zip ties off. Well, there's nobody who's accepting them at Lynn Hall Park.
Yep.
There's no person there working. There's no county employee there.
I'm so sorry you had to participate in that conversation.
What good?
I knew he was going to bring it up.
Hey, listen, going to the bathroom is a big part of getting old. So,
here's the thing. There are bathrooms,
right?
Lovely bathrooms here at Wahoo Willie's.
Yeah.
They're beautiful. Where does he go? He runs across the street to the purple porta potty over there.
It's clean, I don't know. One of the cleaner ones on the island.
You've got some kind of thing with a porta potty.
So, you got me totally off base here.
Hey, that's my job.
My biggest worry about Times Square is it's going to be the last thing that gets done. Because like you said, you got the town that owns the road and you got the county that owns both sides of it and the pier. And you got all these crazy business people that the town is suing, and and they're suing the town. Then nobody gets along in that spot, and that's the spot we need.
There's a lot going on, and you're right. That's the heart of everything, and there's a lot going on there.
Bayside Park gets open. This is going to be the new heart, right here.
Will be open before everything.
Yeah. So you have a question? We have a question. Come on down. From finally somebody that's going to ask a question. Come on. Come on down. We have a question. If you have a question of Keith in the audience or in the chat box here, go ahead.
Well, like the condo that we're in, Leonardo Arms.
Yeah.
We're still waiting on permits.
Yeah.
And what's the status of for the process or whatever of how long it's going to take for certain permits? I don't know who I'm asking.
You're asking Keith.
He's asking about building permits.
Yes.
Okay. Not beach. I don't know.
It's a condo, so
yeah. I wasn't sure because you've got the beach issues there and the berm and then the building itself too. So I'll find out. And if you leave your number,
absolutely.
I'm not sure the exact status of Leonardo Arms right now, but
all right. Are you going to be down at the insurance thing on?
Look, ma'am, we're doing a show here. We're sitting off camera with our microphone. Give me the damn microphone back. Go back to your table. What the hell are you doing? Go back to your table now.
So she was asking about the insurance.
One question per person, all right? Or sit around after the show. Get out of here. What's wrong with you? Go drink your beer. I mean, what is that craziness? How many questions?
So what about Leonardo Arms?
Yeah.
At this point, because they've had.
You mean
we're friends.
Yeah,
we know her.
I talk about Leonardo Arms. I always just kind of think of the beach situation, the coast situation.
Well, you can weigh in on that too.
They're building a nice seawall,
right?
That people were asking, are they going to be able to walk because it almost blocks?
Yes.
But there's going to be more sand put on the outside of that seawall.
I'm told 250 feet of sand beyond the seawall.
Nice. The other question that people have asked me is they see these the emergency berm sand is being piled up like in giant piles. That's going to be spread out, right? They're not leaving it the way it is.
Correct. That's going to be the berm, which is 18 inches high or so.
Okay.
Laterally along the beach.
And that's going along the whole beach or just parts of the beach that need it?
Parts. We have about 135 of the 300 property easements along the island, and so those 135 will be receiving the berm. The ones who did not grant an easement won't.
Okay. So it'll be like berm, no berm, berm.
Well, some
Correct.
didn't need it though.
Okay. Yeah.
Right?
Some didn't need it. Some wouldn't allow it. Right.
So a little less than half.
Right.
Okay.
Right. A little less than half. Yeah.
So Laura's question, and I don't know that you can answer this, is why does it take so long to get the condos open? I've heard a year for Lover's Key. What's the holdup?
I've heard everything from supply chain issues with electrical parts, elevators, electrical panels. I'm not sure.
Right. Did you have any more on your list there? We got Bayside Park. We got Bay Oaks. What else? Did Keith, do you have anything that you want to make? Oh, I know what it was. The FPL lighting. I wanted to ask about that. What's going on with that? I was driving down. Not only was it dark, but the fog was so thick this morning. You needed windshield wipers on to get down to Estero Boulevard. And there's one light by the really old hotel. And then there's like these giant white lights. They're going to have to be shut off in a couple of weeks. So it'll be even darker.
Several things on FPL and the lighting. With regards to the turtle lighting island-wide, there's a legislative request in for $7.9 million. This was FPL's idea to do that. The legislature appropriate $7.9 million for lighting, turtle lighting, or amber lighting island-wide. I've not heard that that's going anywhere in the legislature. I haven't heard pro or con with it, but I haven't heard that, that's moving along. FPL is working on an alternative plan, and I don't know what that is. They're going to talk to us about that next week if that's not going to be approved and included in the budget. So that's like Estero Boulevard and street-wide. With regards to Old San Carlos, there is power down Old San Carlos, and someone had asked me the other day about, why isn't there lighting here? Well, the lighting is tied into the overall street lighting. As far as businesses go, when they get their building rehabbed and back online, electricity is there for them.
So in all likelihood, this turtle season, it's going to be darker. It's going to be pitch black on Estero Boulevard.
I'll be real interested to see what their proposal is to us next week. But
they're coming to the council meeting next week.
No, they're going to come meet with staff next week on what their alternative plan is. And I'll be real interested to see what that is. Otherwise, I think it's going to be dark.
Yeah.
And my wife and I just now were talking about the lights on our porch. Would we have to turn them off and May 1st? And I think, we would. because direct line to the beach.
Right, and there's so many more empty lots now that you might even have to tell other people that never expected to shut their lights off that
Right.
they're going to have to shut their lights off or get amber lights.
Right.
Well, and I just wonder when the turtles show up on the beach, and it's just going to be so different. I mean, there's just wide open swaths now where they can just keep going.
Yeah.
And that's one of the functions of the berm is something, I guess, about
Yeah.
the incline. Turtle says, okay, that's far enough.
Yep.
If you don't have that incline, we'll end up with turtles out on not even light issues, but just incline issues. Turtles on Estero Boulevard.
What do you got in your book there? What's did we miss
No,
anything?
so Ed, this was Ed's question. What is the true, as if you would give
Oh,
a
yeah.
false, financial condition of Fort Myers
Versus
Beach?
the false financial
Yeah,
condition.
yeah.
Well, we
Right,
got
right.
the false financial condition before you got here, so now we want the true one. And we
Yeah.
have a finance director now, which
We have a finance
Yeah.
director and a great staff, and we're actually adding one other accountant there. We're in pretty good shape, really. I mean, our revenues, yeah, they're down, 40, 50, 60% or whatever, but our expenses are down further than that. So revenues are down, I think, revenues are down $4.3 million, but our expenses in our general normal activities, expenses are down $6.7 million. So really we're $2.4 million in the black compared to where we were last year
okay.
with general town operations. Now it's kind of divided in three areas. There's our utilities, which is separate, emergency work now, which is separate, and our general activities. With regards to emergency work, we've had about $8.6 million so far in expenses, but we've received $15.5 million in revenue and FEMA dollars. So we're ahead in that also. So we're good. I mean, cash flow is still an issue and will be an issue as we meter in projects because of the match that we're obligated to do or advance payment and then wait to get reimbursed. So we'll have to meter that way, but we're in good shape.
And
So we're in good shape now. What about the next year?
Next year is probably going to be the lowest year we have because of loss of revenue with if
Yeah,
ad valorem
valorem.
comes back
Yep.
low, parking, if we don't get our visitors back, short-term rentals, if they don't come back. So next year will be probably our toughest year, but we're projecting full recovery by 2026.
okay, that's
Fiscal year
nice.
2026, which actually is October 25.
And one of the things Matt Caldwell said on last week, Thursday or Friday, was that it won't be as bad as some people think because the property values are still so high on Fort Myers Beach. You
Right.
could even have a collapsed house on a piece of property, and there's still people want that property because you can't make any more beach.
Right. And that's proven true with Hurricane Michael in Mexico Beach, with Panama City Beach, Pensacola during Hurricane Ivan, same concerns. And it's always panned out that property values go up because of speculation, because you're getting rid of the old, weaker housing stock and you're bringing in new housing. So we hope for that anyway. But we are forecasting for a 20% reduction in ad valorem next year.
And that's the number that he kind of said, around 20%,
Right.
which is not horrible.
No, we're lucky. I mean, we
Yeah.
were afraid it was going to be 50.
How much more do you expect from Tallahassee?
Did you write those questions?
No, I
Did you say-
memorized them.
Oh, you memorized them. We have about 60 million in legislative requests to Tallahassee. I'm expecting, 24 million of that to come. That includes some burn money and some of the turtle lighting money and things like that. As far as operating money goes, we've got the $11.9 million loan from Tallahassee, which has a 10%, it's interest free for 12 months. Unfortunately, that 10% kicks in right when we're in our low revenue point next year. We're hoping that that's extended interest free or maybe even turns into a grant, but that's going to be the next legislative session. Not this
What
session.
is the explanation about why it has to be a 1-year loan when people can see what's going on here? Why can't it be a 3-year loan?
Exactly. I don't know. I did ask the DEO secretary that question, and they said that was the legislature's intent, was that they wanted it to be a loan.
And is it because they don't want to?
Point
For
blank.
just this specific situation, or that's
It's
like
the
with
DEO program for Ian and Nicole.
wow.
All right.
Yep.
So you took the boat to Key West, you and your wife.
Yeah, we
How
did.
did
It was
that
great.
go?
It was a great trip.
Isn't that a fun? It's
It
fun.
was really
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, and the weather in Key West was beautiful. We had a wonderful time there. We walked everywhere. And
Did you
biked a little
stay
bit.
over or did you go down
Yeah,
for
yeah.
the day? Yeah.
No, we stayed over. Mhm. It was a
How-
wonderful trip. Great
did-
food.
Did they get hit any down there from the hurricane?
No, not that I could tell.
Okay.
But they look so vulnerable after seeing 15 feet of water here.
Yeah.
Thought, what is that going to do to Key West? We stayed in Old Town Key West, and I thought, oh, it's going to be sad when it happens.
I mean, they're so close to the water. You think it's going to be crazy down there.
Yep.
What else you got in your book there? I don't
Okay,
want to
finance was good.
Yep. Yeah, anybody have any questions? It's your last chance because this guy is hightailing it out of town.
No,
one
he's
question,
buying and
one
coming
question
back.
per audience member, ma'am. You stay down. You're getting rowdy over there. Stop with the Coronas. Come on down, ma'am.
And while she's walking up,
Yes.
I do want to thank Neil from Diamond Head.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Diamond Head has just been an incredible
Insane.
community sponsor for us.
We don't have a wireless. You're gonna have to come down. Yeah, I mean they've set up the town with all the meetings and I mean the Easter egg hunt.
We have
last
7
weekend.
meetings a month in Diamond Head. And they cut the prices on when we did the town manager interviews.
Yeah.
They gave us rooms at 50%, so they were wonderful.
Ma'am, go right ahead. The floor is yours.
Good. I've been down here for 20 years, down at the south end of the beach. And I was wondering, when they put in the walkways again, the crosswalks, are they going to do caution lights or red lights?
Those are county crosswalks, and I don't want to deflect the response, but I'm not sure what the county plans are. Maybe, yeah. Yeah, lighting.
The reason I ask is that several years ago, we had many people that were killed down there near Santini. And to the point that my husband and I were about ready to leave. There were just so many accidents, people at night. And then my husband and his friend were crossing in front of docks one night. And if you think about it, I talked to the people in the State Department. They told me it was a state highway division of highways that did those. And when you think about it, when people see yellow lights, they speed up. If you go out in the middle of down on 41 and Bonita Beach Road, you see it all day long. My husband and his buddy were about killed in front of docks because I was already across the street. They were halfway and I could hear the car coming, roaring speed, and we screamed at them to stop. And they did. The guys didn't get hit, but we've seen so many people killed down there by us. And I asked the guy at the state, why don't you put red lights? People will stop at a red light. They speed up for a yellow light. And he said, well, we'd had people stopping all day long. And I said, oh, so you'd rather have dead people rather than have people stopping. And he just didn't get it. So I just hung up and I thought, well,
I'll follow up on that with the county and see what their plans are, if it's
Okay.
yellow flashers or if it's an actual stoplight there.
I mean, if you look back, you'll see how many were in the last, I think it was about 5 years ago. We think we had 5 or 7 in one year.
That's awful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. All right, so continue on with your list. Wow, that was quick for you. Sorry, I'm gonna.
Oh.
It's not that kind of 5K, sir.
There will not be porta-johns along the way on the 5K, Dave. So you're just going to have to run the whole thing without having to go. So did we get everything answered here?
That's everything I have on my list, which started with your list.
We need, your advice, like you've been so easy to talk to and so great to the show and you always answer things, whether they're on the record or off the record. What is our best approach with Andy? Because we don't want to be a pain in his ass.
Well, that's a foregone conclusion that you will be. So
he's not. I know he's not an
I
know he's not an emailer like you are. He does things in a different way. So, but we also want to keep the information going out to the community like you have.
I appreciate that, and my advice to him is to communicate openly, be transparent, and he's talked to you already at the interview session, and I told him, I said, be ready because you'll be on the show.
Okay.
And he's got to be open and transparent. And
does he have a good sense of humor? I haven't had the pleasure of meeting him yet.
That wasn't an atmosphere where there was a lot of sense of humor going around.
Joked around yet, but
yeah. Yeah, but he was a great interview, and I watched one of his previous interviews where he was going through everything that had happened with. I mean, that was a major, like 98 people died in that the building collapse, and people were always like, they're always asked about why a town manager has a short stint and why did he leave his job? It's because you're always at the whim of the next election, and the good thing about this town right now is that we have people that were just elected. They have 4 years, and Dan and Jim, if they decide to run, they've got another 4 years. So this is a town manager that really could be here for 6 years, 8 years, which is that's unusual.
I appreciate you bringing that up, because I just want to say it is very common for that career path for people it's very short when you get in that leadership position. And Chris and I have both been fortunate, we've never been fired, but I came home plenty of times and told my wife, my job is hanging by a thread. But I stayed at Escambia County 17 years, but I stayed at the director level, not as administrator. City of Pensacola, I was there for 6 years in administration, and was lucky enough there to survive between two strong mayors, which is unusual, to make that transition. But it's common. So I think there's been a lot of questions about, he's been a job hopper. Well, that's that field. It's a short.
Well, because people run on change. People that are running for election run on change. Karen and John ran on change to change the town manager, and he saw it coming when they were elected. He saw it coming, and he bailed out as quick as he could. And that's just the nature of that job.
Well, and I think your interview, and I don't give you many compliments, but here comes one.
Oh wait, she's touching me. That doesn't happen a lot either.
Your interview with the previous mayor over there at Surfside in that area, that really highlighted what happened over there, and I thought that was good.
The old mayor who lost by, I think he lost by 35 votes.
35 votes, yeah.
I said, dude, how did you lose by 35 votes? I mean, that's got to be the worst way to lose, like 35 votes. Obviously, Dominion was running that whole operation down there, and then I'm just kidding.
Well,
but he's running again. He's running again.
He expects to win, and then he's going to
try and hire
claw back. Yes.
Yes. We'll love it here. Andy will love it here too much.
Yeah.
I guess one other point on there is, if people have built a trust for me, I just want to point out Andy has some litigation in his past also, and I've been sued 4 times.
Really?
And won.
Wait, as the town manager, somebody's
as director and as city administrator, and
does that come with the job too?
Getting sued personally? Yes, absolutely.
Why would somebody sue you personally in that job?
I was sued for slander. I was sued for denying somebody their what do you call it? Their pursuit of happiness as a federal issue, because I wouldn't let them cut down some trees. I'm going to
sue you for my lack of pursuit of happiness.
I've never seen suits. I've been in private sector and public sector. Private sector does not behave this way. Public sector, it flies.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know what the difference is, but I would not let that dissuade people from Andy, because that also, along with short duration, that's very common to be included in suits.
You're making this job sound so enticing.
I know, no kidding.
I had a sexual harassment suit against me, or complaint against me by a man.
Oh,
I don't know if he thought I was hitting on him or I was rejecting his hits on me, but
what's his name?
No,
I'd be delighted to Google that guy.
He's an employee of mine, and again prevailed in that. But just weird things happen.
Wow! And now, when you get sued,
unusual,
when you get sued in that position, does the government entity defend you, or do you have to hire a private attorney?
Most of the time, and again, it kind of depends on local policy. Most of the time, they will defend you. If you are found guilty, though, you have to repay.
I see.
Those costs.
Did you ever accidentally burn your own house down, by the way?
I've never experienced a house fire.
I see. So
just couldn't get through it.
No, I mean,
my wife's clothes caught on fire one Thanksgiving at the stove, and I took pictures. And my cousin put her out.
What happened?
As close as I've come.
Did she see you for that?
She reached over an open burner on the gas stove, and her clothes caught on fire.
Well, things happen.
What is your grade of the current town council?
They're excellent. I mean, they're
A+.
Not because he's here, but
notwithstanding his presence.
Yeah, notwithstanding his presence, I would say that Dan is the least political politician I've ever come across.
He's learning though. He's learning how to dodge questions.
And I've been in 27 years in the public sector like this, and but they're wonderful. They're all very sincere, and even when there's opposition, everybody I think is truly interested in making this a better place. They're not in it for themselves,
right?
And that's what's so enjoyable for me.
It's been such a pleasant council right now. I think the city's in good hands. If Andy steps up and he does, fits in with this council and he can stay for a long time, he can be this could be his gigantic success story.
Yep.
It's a huge project.
This is a huge,
this council too will be known for rebuilding or not Fort Myers Beach.
And that's the fun I'm going to miss. I hate that, but I'll be back.
Yeah. And we'll catch you fishing somewhere, right?
Right.
Anything else that you can share?
I just really appreciate it. I want to give everybody my gratitude and appreciation for the reception that my wife and I've had here.
Well,
so
we know
thank
you,
everybody very
and
much.
we know you don't have a yellow shirt, but we're giving you a yellow shirt, a yellow mug, and we thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Keith Wilkins.
Oh, he's got a mug, but he'll take another.
Yes.
You want one of those koozies?
Yeah.
No, I don't have a
Thank
Yeah,
you
then
so
we'll
much.
give him a koozie.
And thank you for being a friend of the show, Keith Wilkins.
I know
everybody.
it should have been rum, but it's a t-shirt.
He's got enough rum from his last gathering. We heard that. All right, everybody. We do have one more guest that we're going to talk about. Billy. Okay. I'm just going to take care of a few things. If you're thinking about selling your home, call Alex King. We saw Alex King last night at the gathering at the Schoonover House. Alex King he's like one of the nicest guys. Like, I need to learn nice from Alex King. If you want to sell your house or buy a house, you want to call Alex King, the #1 agent in sales volume for 6 straight years on Fort Myers Beach. He's got an office located down here on Lover's Lane. He's got a firecracker wife that keeps him in line if he ever gets out of line. I mean, I've never seen him get out of line. They've donated over $250,000 in the past 2 years to Fort Myers Beach charities. And he's just a good guy. If you're going to sell property or buy property or sell a house or buy a house, you want somebody you trust. And if you can't trust Alex King, for crying out loud, you can't trust anybody. Mark Dorston is somebody you can trust. When I went driving around Fort Myers Beach today, I saw a lot of Dorston claim signs because you might need an adjuster to help you out. And Mark Dorston is somebody we've had on the show. He's been a sponsor of the show since the storm. You want to deal with the insurance companies, or do you want somebody that knows what they're doing dealing with the insurance companies? To get you more money, he's not going to charge you until you get more money. And you know what? In life, we all want more money. Who doesn't want more money? Never met anybody that says, I want less money. I want more money. The more money, the better. So give Dorston Claims a call. Ma'am, I'm doing a show here. The what on Tuesday? What meeting? Oh yeah. Big Insurance Village on Tuesday at the. You're interrupting my ads. I got to take care of the people that are making us more money. Dorston Claims, Mark Dorston. I know, Laura, right? I feel the same way. 239-849-2949. 239-849-2949. Thank you, Mark, for being a sponsor of the show. We have a special guest coming on. I'm going to let her explain everything. I don't know where my wife is, but I'm the star of the damn show. So come on, have a seat in seat number 2. Grab that microphone right here in my hand. Yeah. Have a seat. Don't worry about the headphones. Let's tell everybody who you are and what you're doing. You got a little tent set up outside here in the parking lot. You got some shells. You got to get night. There you go.
Hey, my name is Pam, and we're Pen Shell Creations. We're called the Jersey Girls. We've been here over 30 years. We came out. I bring in shells from New Jersey, the large clam shells, because they're unique. They have their own colors of sunsets.
Look at this
We
one's
have
got
a
the Wahoo
Wahoo
Willie's
Willie's.
logo in it.
And the blues.
$700. $700.
They're $25.
$25?
Yeah. And then Sandy Coyle is outside. She is a
I
wire.
love Sandy Coyle.
wire wrapper.
Yeah.
The necklace that I'm wearing now, all the shells are from Sanibel, Captiva, and Fort Myers Beach.
I thought you said you brought them from New Jersey.
The clam shells. But the top shells here are all
Wait,
from...
what's the difference between a clam shell and that shell?
Well, clam shells, you can only get these kind of clam shells in New Jersey.
You know
They're
what I
big.
used to do with shells when I was growing up?
What? I know, and you listen to the ocean.
There's
and
nothing
made a
in this
wish.
one. Is that the wrong shell?
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's
Can you
beautiful.
put the Beach Talk Radio logo in some of these?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that'll be $70, by the way.
You make the price.
No, how much? If I were to buy a shell so you could put a logo in it, what do you charge
25.
me? Can you give me a break on it if I buy a big
Yeah.
lot of them?
Absolutely.
Like 15?
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
so you're-
and they're all UV resin. They're not decoupaged where you can't get them wet, or like a lot of people are doing decoupage. These are UV resin.
You know, the people that do that
They're
decoupage
very,
shell
very
shit, I
hard.
mean, nobody wants that decoupage shell.
No,
It's it's like an
no.
imitation shell.
Exactly.
It'd be like an imitation show on Saturday
Exactly.
morning.
Exactly.
Decoupage.
But what's really unique, if you look, this is a major sunset.
Yeah.
Okay, and we have some outside. We have turtles, mermaids. We have seahorses. They make great gifts. Sandy's necklaces.
I love
that I'm-
seahorses.
I know.
Yeah.
My necklaces outside are gorgeous. Just stop by.
Yeah.
Listen.
How long
the
are you going to be out there
food
for?
in Wahoo Willie's
Yeah.
is amazing, and we're out here to support Wahoo Willie's.
Of course.
And we have a lot of people coming
What
down
part of
from
New
lunch.
Jersey are you from?
I'm Northern Jersey,
Look,
exit
is
136.
Is there a lot of mafia in New Jersey?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. I thought they cleaned that up. No?
They did. Most
Yeah.
of them are
Do you
either,
li- you
either
s-
dead now
I
or in
see.
jail.
Yeah. Do you
So-
still live in New Jersey? Or
No, I don't. I've been
I
here
see.
for over 30 years.
Where do you live?
I live on 6 Mile Cypress and
Very
Daniels.
nice. Got a nice house?
Casa del Lago.
Oh, wow. No, you're selling a shitload of shells, aren't you? To live in that neighborhood.
You know what? I retired 2 years ago and I needed to find something
Very
to do.
nice. Well,
But we wanted the visitors that are coming down, because our gift shops are not open yet. It gives the opportunity for the people that are coming down and supporting our island to bring something home. So
and I love the
that's
Wahoo Willie's
important.
logo. I was just joking
Yes.
about our logo, but we're
Yeah.
going to get our logo on a dog bowl.
Okay, we
know,
can do that
Look
too.
down at the dogs looking down and seeing my face and just, maybe not.
Okay.
But yeah, so this is 25 for
Yep,
the Wahoo
all the
Willies.
shells are 25.
Nice, thank
and,
you.
And the beach necklaces are 35.
Oh,
Come
necklace
out and
too.
see us.
That's
And,
right outside the parking lot here. You see the big white tent. So thank you for coming on and good luck.
Thank you for having
What'd you
me.
say your name was again?
Pamela.
Pamela, everybody.
Thank you.
Selling shells. Thank you very much, Pamela. Thank you very much. And is my wife coming? You coming back on the show, or are you just? I mean, this is it's called Beach Talk Radio with Kim and Ed Ryan, not just Ed Ryan. I mean, the last few days it's been nothing but me. After a while, I get sick of myself.
Well, it is your full-time job.
Yeah. Well, as of June 27th, it will be my full-time job. So thank you all to everybody. Yeah, for your
You all are clapping.
for
This
your
gives me a lot
coffees.
of pause.
Yeah. I slept until 5 o'clock in the morning the other day. I was like, what the hell am I going to do with myself? Oh, I'll go to the gym. And then I go to the gym and they change the hours. They don't open until 7 o'clock now. I say, how about sending me an email? Oh, I want you guys to come over. Please come over. Come over.
Yeah.
You guys gave us some nice gifts. Yeah, I want to, our friends here from Ohio. No, come over on this side. Come over on this side so we can get you on the show. We have 17% power left and nobody's walked out yet. There's a crazy lady over there again, wants to ask another question. You're leaving. The insurance village is Tuesday, I think. Tuesday.
Here,
It's on
come
our
around
website. It's on our website. Come on back. Come on back. Don't pay attention to the
trip
crazy
over
New
that,
York
though.
woman. Come on back here. We appreciate you guys bringing us gifts. Yeah, come on in
All
so we
right,
can see on the camera right
remind
here.
us of your names again.
Yeah.
I'm Jill. This is Mike.
I'm Mike.
Jill and Mike from
Richfield.
Ohio.
From Ohio.
Yep.
Cleveland.
Cleveland. Very nice. Oh, Cleveland got the Knicks in the first round here,
Yes,
huh? Yeah,
tonight.
you guys are going down.
Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, I'm a Knicks fan.
They're gonna walk right off the show.
You want the
now.
shirt back now?
Let's go. Forget it.
So they were so gracious to buy us and bring us these shirts from Whitey's in
Hold- let them-
Richfield.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is Whitey's?
It was built in 1950. It was built in 1953,
It's an old restaurant and just burgers and booze, which it says on
Burgers
there.
and booze. I
Booze
mean,
and
who here likes
burgers.
burgers and booze? That's crazy talk.
It was a bar in '53, and every year every year it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So now we got volleyball, we got all. It's a big place.
Do you have
but still
pickleball
a good
yet?
place.
No.
No, it hasn't made it to
pickleball?
Ohio.
No, it has
Wow.
pickleball. Yes.
Yeah.
But it hasn't made it to
It
the
hasn't
place.
made it- no, not
No.
yet. But they're
We-
thinking about it.
I
Do
did.
they have foosball? You know, the little
Oh,
guys
stop with
with
the
the
foosball.
little.
That's like
No?
asking if you have a
No.
pinball machine. Nobody cares about
Those are
foosball,
my two
idiots.
favorite things. Yeah.
Ping pong. So but you work there
Yes, I've been there for over 20 years, kitchen manager.
20 years. You got some
Yeah.
kind of pension coming to you
And
then,
there's-
no?
You know,
Big
there's
time.
That's what's amazing is there's like 4 of us. One guy's been there for 40 years, and another's been there 35 years. So there's the beginning of all the people, and then there's other people that work there. We got lots and lots of people, but the biggest part is our chili. Our chili sold nationwide, and
Wow.
if you go to GFS store, you can get our chili.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Ed's going to take your chili and enter it as his own in the next chili
I never
contest
thought about
down
that.
here.
Because
We do that all the time. Yeah, people do that all the time. Yeah.
Do you have hot dogs in your chili?
Oh yeah.
You
Oh, yeah.
put hot dogs in your chili?
Well, you can.
Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
choice.
Oh,
do
no,
whatever you
no,
want.
but you don't make it like that. No.
No.
I mean, who would do that?
Mm.
Oh.
Hot
Well,
dogs.
thank you guys for the
Thank
T-shirts.
you.
Very nice.
Thanks
And
for all that you do.
thank you very much
We've been
for
following you.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Our
much.
friends from
Thank
new
you
friends
so
from
much.
Cleveland.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, dear. It's 11 minutes after 12. We've been
Okay.
on a long time.
Yeah.
Way too long.
Yeah.
The crowd is
I'm
getting
tired of you
restless. They
already.
want to have lunch. Thank you all for tuning in. The Monday with the Mayor show is Monday. In case some of you didn't know what Mondays with the Mayor means, it means Monday at 6:00. And are you doing a bike ride tomorrow?
hmm
Where are you biking tomorrow?
I think I'm starting at Virginia Ave, if I can recall correctly.
Virginia Ave is, I have no idea where that is.
It's down the road.
All right. Down the road. All right. Thank you all for tuning in. Thanks to Keith Wilkins for everything. And we look forward to Andy Hyatt being a huge success for Fort Myers Beach. Thank
We're
you
gonna
all
have to
for
get
coming.
him a plaque.
Yes. Who, Keith?
Yeah.
Put his plaque right at
Yeah.
Bayside Park.
Yeah, there you go.
And we'll see you Monday night. Say it with me, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.